what are the basic duties towards environment? First of all, the very first duty of human being, according to Islam, towards the environment is the Marifa-related duties, which is to explore, to learn, to understand, to try to figure out why they are created, how they are created, what it means in terms of creation. Because if you think about it, human beings are, in a way, sent to a palace of an exhibition. God created many nice, intricate, valuable artifacts in there. And we are maybe one of few conscious beings who can really appreciate that. And it brings a lot to the conversation, because you may create a lot of nice art, but you need an appreciation in a way. So the art critic who can understand and appreciate the art is an important addition. But it doesn't mean that the entire Louvre Museum is just for the, it doesn't have any value. It's just the people who come and watch us and critique it has a value. It doesn't mean that they have both values, but one actually, without a conscious being appreciating something, it's the question goes like this: if somewhere in the forest a tree falls down and no one is there to witness or hear, did that tree really falls down? Because there was nobody to really witness or see that. The witness is very important. So in that case, that's why Allah keep emphasizing that human beings' first duty is to actually increase their knowledge about God. And what best way to increase the knowledge of God without actually, what better way to learn about God than exploring the nature and an environment, basically his creation, and then try to appreciate that. So the first duty towards the environment is actually to explore. And the second one is about keeping the balance. So since I mentioned as the concept of vice regency means that we are here for a reason, and we are here to intervene when there is a problem arise, because we are sent here. So we are in this palace, we are looking after, we are responsible, we are vice regent, we are the person who looks after this palace. And let's say in our holy book, it doesn't say that, for instance, when the plumbing is exploded, don't do anything. It says anything goes wrong, you are responsible to fix that, because you are my representative on the scene. You are supposed to fix the balance. So sorry, the first one is to keep the balance. However Allah wanted, however Allah desired the universe to be operated, we're responsible to keep the balance. This means not tip the balance, not break the balance, and appreciate that there is a balance that has been created. And finally, the third one is the responsibility towards environment is the repair the nature. So sometimes when the balance is broken, we are also responsible to fix it, because it's not going to fix itself. And if there is a Khalifa with the role of niyabatan, meaning the helper of God, has been already sent to earth, his job is actually to fix to the problems and bring them back in line with however it should be. So these three things are mainly the duties towards the environment. So whether you like it or not, whether you accept it or not, these are in the Quran as well. Human beings are supposed to study the nature, learn about Allah's creation, and so they increase their marifa, their knowledge about God in this way. And the second thing is they have to maintain the balance in the universe, which means they have to abstain breaking the balance and maintain the order, because that is again what partly salih amal, the productive good deeds mean. And thirdly, they are supposed to repair the balance. When the crisis emerged, then there is no one else to do that. So the last part, if you have any questions, you may start writing about them as well. The last part is about engagement rules. So it's not simple as that like we drink, eat, and use and utilize, although they have some intrinsic value. We have covered already that. But there are some boundaries. We all know about these boundaries, but we never think them in this sense as boundaries. The very first one is that, yes, we are allowed to intervene the nature in positive and negative way. But first of all, we're only allowed, let's say we are only allowed, if you remember the concept of halal, We are only allowed to, let's say, eat the animal or do anything only in the name of God. You know, if you mention that I don't own this thing, Allah owns this thing, so in the name of Allah, which means Bismillah, so a Muslim or a proper vice regent on earth shouldn't actually act without authority of God. It's like similar to like, let's say, a judge in real life judges in the name of law and gives judgment and look at the cases, and whatever he says becomes, you know, compulsory for others to apply, because he does that in the name of law. But just because he's angry once he's outside, he saw a fight and he gives a ruling about that, doesn't mean anything, because you're not a judge there and you don't act in the name of law, and it's not. So human beings are similar. So if they don't act on behalf of, in the name of God, it's a problematic area, because they should be acting, whatever they use, whatever they do, they should always do in the name of God. So that Bismillah principle is actually not like a nicety, it's actually the reminder that you're not owner of anything. You can intervene if you accept that it doesn't belong to you. You're just intervening on behalf of God. So can you intervene to anything? That's the second rule. Not really, because out of thousands of things in the world, in the universe, you are allowed to utilize certain animals, certain food, and you're not allowed the rest of it, which means like they are outside of your boundary. You are bounded with certain, what we call halal rules, that you have to stay within there. So does it mean like if you mention Allah's name and if you obey the boundaries that, you know, like for instance, in that case, if you think about it, you can't actually eat pork, not because of this and that, because it's outside of your touch. You have to just stay with the cow and sheep and slaughter them properly, not in your whim and desire as well. It has to be in the name of God. Not, you can't do it because it doesn't belong to you. It's the rest of the creation is outside of your reach. Allah doesn't want you or allow you to even touch them in the name of Him, unless of course it's absolutely necessary and you're about to die and this and that, then other rules can come into place. The third one is, again, this is all based on needs. So the debate about you know, like excessive usage in Islam or waste, it doesn't mean that actually you can do as far as you follow this. No, actually you can only use as much as you need, and the rules in there is not the rules that we're using today. For instance, according to prophetic guidelines, you should be able to have wudu between half a liter to 700 milligram, or let's say 1 liter of water, and maybe 4 or 5 liters should be enough for a shower. But this is like, if you go by the biggest problem nowadays, the excessive usage of water resource and everything, and people are trying to shorten the shower times and this and that to avoid this problem. But if you think about it, we are only allowed with justified needs, not really anything more than that. And fourth, even if you have done all of this, the fourth is, you are still accountable for every intervention you have done in the universe. This is why accountability comes in. No one can say that when you, let's say, kill a bird and eat the food, that, well, because you did it, you know, like in the name of God, that bird was allowed, you know, it was within the boundaries and you needed that. And that might be all in the place, but you still are accountable for every action you have done and everything that you utilized in this world, because it's not yours to do. So these are basic Islamic approach that we should be considering nowadays for our engagement with the environment. As you may see, this is the last part of it. So this is actually 7th or 8th chapter of my thesis. You can find it on Kindle, Amazon Kindle. If you're actually member of Kindle Unlimited, it's free. Otherwise, this is $7.99. You can actually read a bit more detail, then you can see how those outcomes come about according to which sources I have used as well. And thanks for listening. I hope this was helpful, and hopefully we'll see you maybe in another time if any interesting thing comes up. Thanks for listening. Have a nice evening. Bye.